Okay, here we
Patingin nilagay
go.
sa building. O nakikita nyo ba that there's no broken glasses inside and outside the building? Because they've been using windows made of oyster shells. Are
Wow.
you familiar with the oyster shells?
Yeah.
Bacapis type, Spanish type window. Oh, look at the directed portion. Right there. Again, it was bombed by
Wow.
the Japanese and then by the Americans.
Damn, guys.
Oh, trap number 3. Si ma'am na lang. Wala dyan. Ayun, si ma'am na lang. Yan.
Wow.
Yan, kompleto na. O, nakikita niyo po yung sirang building. Mamaya, pagdating natin sa museum, makikita niyo yung picture ng barracks, how it looks like before, during, and after the war.
Wow.
Oh, yun daw. Oh, paalala again ha, do not extend any parts of the body outside the bus. Yeah. Again, safety is our main concern.
Well, this is surprisingly good.
Oh, nakita natin, barracks for the Americans.
So hey guys,
Yung
welcome
mababa ang
back to my
ranggo.
YouTube channel, and this
Oh,
is the
coming to
story
your
of
front right,
Yeah, nice
next
one.
part of the
Yeah.
barracks, that
Yeah,
was
subscribe
for
to
the
Victor.
Filipino soldiers.
Wow.
We have 2 regiments for the Americans and 2 regiments also for the Filipinos. We have 91st and 92nd Philippine Scouts. Mamaya may makikita kayong mga gwardiya nakasuot ng 1930 Philippine Scout uniform. Pero parehas lang din po yung structure. 3-story building, 4,000 soldiers, double-decker beds. Nakikita niyo ba yung bubong? Yung bubong ay konkreto that serve as catch basin for the rain. Remember down there, there's a water reservoir. And originally, we're passing at the backside of the building. The front, it's the backside. And before, there was a community in front of the barracks, Barrio Lourdes. Did you know that during the American time, we have 5 communities here in the island? 16,000 population, 2,000 Filipino
Now this
civilians
looks like
attached to the
Henry
military. Normally, they are the houseboy, housekeeper, but it's also a good way of living in the island. So look around you. Look at the vegetation. Did you know that after the fall of Bataan, April 9, Corregidor received 27 days continuous bombing from the Japanese? And every day, there's about 16,000 tons of bombs that were dropped here in the island. Imagine 1 bomb, 1 ton, equivalent to magnitude 6 earthquake.
Oh,
Every
damn.
25 square meters, we have bomb craters in the island. Corregidor was the second most bombarded island in the whole world during World War II, next to the island of Malta in the Mediterranean, and that was bombed by the Germans. Almost no vegetation. The island was totally barren. But trees were planted after the war. In 1953, our government did the reforestation. Some of the trees were helped by the birds. Of course, the birds are the major seeds dispersal. If we're lucky, during our tour, maybe we can see some wildlife here. We have wild deer, wild boar, monitor lizard, we have snakes, we have pythons, and cobra. And then, of course, we have monkeys in the island. They were reintroduced 1960 after the war. More or less, we have 2,000 monkeys scattered here in the island. And they're very quite shy type of monkey. Did you know that the monkeys used to show up only when they feel when there's some missing link between the tourist and the monkey? So when you see some monkeys, you look happy there's some missing link. In Filipino, we call it lokso ng dugo, our brothers and sisters. And tourists are not allowed to feed the monkey so that they will not be a problem. We don't want to have a tour with monkeys sitting in our bus. The worst thing is, they might jump inside the bus. They might stand in front of you, they might hold a mic, act like a tour guide, but not your tour guide today. Our dear students, our next stop is a gun battery. Speaking of battery, it's not the battery of your cell phone, battery of your camera, or battery of this car. It's a military term for the group of guns in one area. So you call it battery. Then normally, it's always being followed by a family name, surname of an American soldier who died in service here in the Philippines during the Filipino and American War. Battery Way,
Oh, no,
In
they've
memory of
arrived.
2nd
Oh, nice.
Lieutenant Henry Way, the area was given credit to him. Can you see the year right there on the first building? 1913 to your right. That was the completion year of the building.
Oh,
1913.
I'll get a
10 years in the making,
later.
from 1903 to 1913. And they need 1 year for the curing of the cement before you put the gun emplacement. And going back to 1913, there's no war yet. World War I started 1914, and the Philippines was not part of that war, and the guns were already here. Why? For the protection of our capital city, Manila. From whom? From any warships or pirates. So the guns were intended for warships. Can you see the gun to your right? That's a mortar type of gun. How the guns work? The gun rotates in a full turn, 360 degree.
Wow.
It has a minimum angle of 45 degree, maximum of 70 degree. The gun was manned by 14 men per gun. 8 of them were the rammers, the one responsible for the loading of the shell. Are you familiar with the shell? Bullet? Can you see that green pointed metal at the corner of the center building? That's a shell. The shell weighs about 700 pounds, 318 kilograms, high explosive shells. To transport the shells here, can you see the railway tracks? They've been using freight cars.
Oh, it's like the
And can you see
Charleroi
the
Railway.
building to your right, and then to your extreme right? Those were the ammunition rooms. Shell room, powder room, magazine room, cartridge room.
Ooh.
And the shell was loaded on the gun by 8 men. And there's a soldier behind that will pull the trigger. So it was manually loaded and electrically triggered. The gun caliber of this gun is a 12-inch mortar, the biggest gun caliber that we have here in the island. Did you know that it was the last gun of Corregidor? The
Aw.
last gun that used to fire before the surrender, May 6 of 12 noon. The story is, the gun to the right on the corner, that gun keeps on firing continuously for 2 hours.
Oh.
Until the barrel gets hot, the bridge block frozen, they can't load the shells anymore because they've been ordered to ceasefire because they've been shooting their own Marines. May 6, 11 o'clock in the morning, General Wainwright, the man in charge here, ordered all his men to dismantle all the guns from 3 caliber going up so that the Japanese will not use it against them. May 6, 12 noon, the island unconditionally surrendered. Our dear students, the last gun is the gun to the right on the corner. And if you look to the guns on the left, guns number 3 and 4, that 2 guns suffered direct hit from Japanese bomb. Later on, when you go there, look at the barrel, you will see the dent portion of the barrel. Imagine the barrel, 13 tons. That's how heavy it is.
Wow.
And the center building to your right, that was the fire control room. That's the place where they plot the distance, angles, coordinate where the gun is to fire. They've been using triangular method to locate the enemy. They have forward observers, spotters, sonar detectors to locate the enemies. To your extreme right, can you see that tree? Can you see that there's a building behind the tree? That was the latrine. As you can see, the latrine didn't spare from the bombing. So it means the debris scattered everywhere. It means the tree was there, the building was there. That's the proof that we have some trees that used to survive after the war. Why? Because if you look to that tree, you will see some portion of the latrine that's still embedded on the tree. Our living World War survivor. And behind our bus, and on the next bus, there's a white building right there. That's the bomb disposal unit, where you can drop your own bombs. Toilet, comfort room. Any questions about Battery Way?
No.
Okay? You may go down now, but no